143 million users on TikTok last year, 130 million users a week on OpenAI. We're seeing the greatest boom in terms of adoption of new technologies ever. And why? Because they're relevant. These are technologies that are related to the consumer's interests and continue to return experiences in kind to what they're interested in. We at Finalytics think that the same application can be used inside of financial services and have yielded an experience that is oriented around driving deeper engagement with the consumers that banks already have, and then also are able to use transactional and data and behavioral insights to deepen those relationships. We're going to give you that demo today.
Thanks, Craig. So as Craig was saying, we use this really interesting combination of browser, IP, location, behavioral, intent, transaction, product data. So we can actually start from that first touch point when you go to, let's say, your bank or credit union. A visitor goes to that bank or credit union's public site. So you're an anonymous person, but we're already starting to define and identify who you are and a pattern for what you're going to be interested in. So what we're going to do with our demo, we're going to go through a few different journeys. And the first one we're going to start with is that, in all our conversations we have with our clients and our prospects, is the one thing everyone is interested in. I need more deposits. The challenge is, right, you go to most credit union or bank websites, and you're communicating a CD, and you're saying the same message to everyone, irrespective of who they are, what they need, and where they are in their life cycle. With Finalytics, we actually take that data and our understanding of that visitor and personalize it so you're talking to that person in a relevant manner. So let's start with our first example here, and this is our demo environment. So we're going to pick a young person who is visiting your bank or your credit union for that very first time. We already start to identify them. We've identified them as someone who is in a rural community, and we're starting to talk about areas of information that may be interested in them. You can see here we're talking about something to do with in this particular case, a CD, right? You're starting to sort of try and find the language that is relevant to them. As they go a little bit deeper into the site, if you click on a little more, so we're personalizing that first experience, but we're also personalizing it all the way down to your product pages, right? So that product page is now speaking to a younger person in a language that they understand. So what are the things they care about? How easy it is to open, or the fact that it's as little as $500. Now let's take someone who is a little bit older, let's say with a young family, right? Their financial needs are different. So you're going to talk to them in a different way. You're going to use content. You're going to use imagery in a very, very different way. As you can see here. The other thing is, it's not just, what's really important, it's not just the hero image that gets personalized. It's every single touch point and every single piece of content that we believe is relevant to enhancing that conversation and causing deeper and deeper engagement. So here's a couple of different examples here. Now let's say you go to an older person. Yeah. Sorry. The older person. So let's say someone in their, in retirement age that is thinking about, where they are with their money, thinking about their children and their grandchildren. You're going to have a slightly different message, right? Now, I'm going to pause for a second before we go on to the next step of the demo. On the one hand, right, from an end user's perspective, this creates deeper engagement. You're speaking the language of that person. They get more connected to you as a brand. The other side of it, though, which we think is actually just as important, maybe more important, is personalization results in more conversion, right? Our clients, with personalization, see an increase in completed applications of between 40 and 280%, right? So that's across the board. A lot of it is deposit, but some of it's lending, but on average, we see between 40 and 280% increase in conversion. And that's because we're speaking in a relevant way that means something to them, and we're driving that conversation further. So let's go and go down a different path. So when we talk about personalization, again, it's not just I'm selling you a product, or it's your homepage hero. Let's talk about someone is actually in market. Not many people are right now, but let's say I'm in market for a car loan. And I've gone down my path of exploring your financial institution, and I want to learn a little bit more. So I'm going to go to my FAQs. What we will do is we will understand what that person's been looking at, their intent, and what they're interested in, and actually personalize and customize that FAQ section. So we work with our customers, right, and we create somewhere between dozens and in some cases hundreds of variables of content, right? All of this is based on an understanding of who these people are, what your target audiences are, and what you want to accomplish with them. And the algorithms understand what the intent of that person is and then surfaces that relevant piece of content. So now let's talk about, we're talking about here your owned property, your public website. We can also take this and look at this from a multi-channel perspective. So we work with transaction and product data from an online banking, but let's say you go into your online banking experience. What we would do is continue that conversation across that journey. So you can see here the targeted relevant ads, right? So you've continued that conversation. But not only do we do that, right? We take the data insights we have and we can feed that into your CRM, into your data warehouses. If you do programmatic ad buys, we can feed that information. I think we have some examples here. You probably won't be able to see it, but Mark's got a notification. So, we feed the data across all those different channels. So I think we've got about a minute left. Okay, so let's talk about now the, let's say you're applying for something. We're going to use, Mark is going to go off and do the fastest mortgage application in the world. Now, how many of us have gone and applied for something, and then once you've had that application, day after day, week after week, month after month, you are being presented with that same product that you already bought? With personalization, with Finalytics, that doesn't happen. We understand where you are in the journey and how to nurture that relationship onto its next step so you have deeper connection. So if you take the mortgage example, here we have one where you started, you abandoned. Now we know how to retarget you to bring you back into the funnel. And then should you complete that application, the next step of what you will see is actually understanding you've done the application. And let's say it's a mortgage. That's a high consideration sell. So you're going to have other steps that you want to go through. So our content experience will present to you something highly relevant to you. So anywhere that you want to engage a customer is where you will see personalization.
Very good.
Okay, thank you very much.